3, 2, 1. Good morning, afternoon, or evening. Welcome to IdiOtBlog 297. What's up, guys? I'm just being theatrical. What the fuck is up? What the fuck am I listening to? You're listening to Jason Jacobs, who is doing the guitars, vocals, and songwriting. You can find him at Mr. Cemetery. He is the main feature of the day, Metal Monday. But on this track, he's managed to bring a whole cadre of people from the lab together in a band called Blood Oath. And on this particular track, he features a large number of us. On this track, you have bass by Planet Paradox. You got drums by Matt Dunlap. You have lead guitars by Wallman Band. And you have additional vocals by Red Burns 80. And then an alternative mix can be found at Benevolent Mutation. I'm gonna have to go get more Monster during the show. What? All right, you guys. As you see, I went silent at the end because I was just fucking enjoying the track. But that is Green Machine by Blood Oath, song by Jason Jacobs, additions by the band Blood Oath, as I mentioned just a second ago. Next track, we're going to hear drums created by me, guitars, Mr. Cemetery. This track was created today. It's called Infinity. Yeah. All right, Jason Jacobs sets up challenges for himself. I want to talk a little bit about that because it's part of the personality types that we have that has helped us become friends. It's not just because we like metal. There's a lot of guys on here who like metal. It has a lot to do with our depth of loving metal where it's become a fucking part of us that pours out of us like our blood. If we were stabbed, metal music would just ooze out. No one could stab me because I'm made of fucking metal. But if you tried to stab me and you penetrated through the metal with some kind of fucking diamond-plated steel blade, all that would come out would be metal. Liquid metal. Just gushing out. Hot liquid metal melting you to death. And that's what we have in common. No, let me get serious after I try 11 herbs and spices here, friends. Oh, fuck. I got some new herbs and spices. Yeah. Yeah, let me open up the package. Woo! I can start smelling it. Ugh. Oh. Man. That's some potent stuff you got there. Ooh, Billy. Ooh. I can't believe. Ooh. This is like pre-gent. Yes. All right. We're going on a tangent here. This is a track inspired by Iceman 714 from a day ago called Clockwork. Now, to note, this is the first song he ever recorded on here at BandLab. He built this up from what it was to be kind of like Orion, if you're Metallica saying it, back in the day. But Orion, the constellation, Orion. Original track, like I said, by Iceman 714. This is Clockwork. There's a few different styles of operating here on BandLab. When you make a fork of someone's track, it does not retain their image. It replaces it with your generic image. And it leaves the original name. Now, you can go into any project that you forked and change it to anything you want. It does not remove the tag of what it was inspired by. So if it's inspired by Iceman's song called The Ambulance Is Coming, you can rename it Clockwork. Or if it's called Clockwork, you could keep it called Clockwork. But that being said, there's certain styles on BandLab. And I want to talk about those styles. There's a style where you change what it says, but only slightly, and you just use your stock image. Then there's a style where every image is specific, but you do not change what it says, or only slightly, just like before, but the only difference is you do have an image you've selected, but you don't change the name. Then you have people that will go out and find your image and use your image, not change the name, and just very slightly, if at all, change the details. That's the first three variations I've seen, with the name not changing and with the details being very similar to the first. Then I see a second version where people will just fork it, remove the details, or because they forked it so many times the details are lost in the next versions, not add the details, and so they'll get along the way, and they won't add any unique details, and they'll just post it. So as we get further down the line, we see people who are, it seems right now like they're doing less, but actually the first few people are people who are usually freestyling or just adding something and posting it and not doing a lot of revisions. Because what happens is you lose that information. The more revisions you do, you end up losing that information. So then you'll see later revisions from the same people without information. And then you have other people who change the image. But then you have some who will go and find your image and grab your image and then use that image for their song. They'll use the same image you have. So there's, see what I'm saying? And then there's some people who will find unique images, keep your name, and it will be a unique image based on your name. Some people will fork and they'll try to keep, even if it's an instrumental, their words that they add along the lines of what you name the song. So you'll want to think about that. Sometimes you just want to leave them blank or untitled or metal song 1, metal song 2, metal song 3 because you don't want to inform what the lyrics are. And or maybe you only want specific sorts of lyrics on there, or you would be hoping for certain types of lyrics. Not that you would be mad if someone else did whatever they wanted, but you'd be hoping for certain types of lyrics, so you would name it the werewolf, because you want someone to talk about that kind of stuff, you know, or something. Now, I did a track, it was Doggy Dog, and then it was changed by Jason Jacobs to The Hunter of Wolves, and then it was an image of a werewolf. Ah. You think that he means like hunting wolves, but maybe he actually means the hunter of wolves is the werewolf. Instead of eating humans, he eats wolves. Or maybe the hunter of wolves is the guy that hunts werewolves. Maybe a, you know, like a Van Helsing type or something. So this is like a beat called like To the Stars, I believe, by Matt Dunlap. And then he added to it and he made it into Ad Astra to the Stars, which is pretty cool because I don't know if you've seen Ad Astra yet. It's a Brad Pitt movie, and it's about mankind taking our stretched into space even further and for due cause. Now, this is a very common story arc I've seen in sci-fi. They do expand upon it by taking us in areas that a lot of sci-fis don't do, and they do it well with a good budget, and it's nicely done. But it's also still very dramatic and still highly tied to an apocalyptic theme. I don't like apocalyptic or horror-based science fiction. I like adventure science fiction. I like my genres separate, and I feel like pure science fiction should be in the vein of science, in the vein of discovery, and to be of the best science fiction, that's what you do. Now, it's really cool to have alternate versions of science fiction that incorporate these scary elements, and or while being an adventure, you have elements from other genres pulled in. I don't mind that. But when you make it like kind of end as a horror or it revolve around an apocalyptic theme, like the world's ending, so they're doing this all to save the world, you change the arc. I'm sorry, Armageddon is not a sci-fi. That's an action movie. It's a hero movie. And we have so many superhero movies that we have to start realizing the best hero movies are fucking superhero movies. Even if it's Unbreakable or it's Infinity War's Endgame or whatever. Those are the best. We need to keep developing those. And then the best action are war movies. And the best science fiction is discovery. Look at the newest, most popular 2 science fiction shows. And think about previous ones, even like Lost. The only way Lost was selling and made it the way it made such money and such impact was the science fiction side of the show. And the thing you didn't know, the thing you were trying to discover what it was. This undiscovered yet that is an impalpable thing that certain group of humans love, and they're science fiction fans, I'll tell you that. And so we look for a plot that's seeking discovery, and that's why that show, Star Trek Discovery, is working. The problem with Discovery is that it is heavily pulling on, every episode pulls on one of those genres. So instead of being like, sometimes it's almost lackluster because it's so just about discovery, it's actually pulls away from the discovery a little bit, cranks away the discovery part a little bit, and does these little dramas. So while it's still one of the most popular, it's not done the best. The ones done the best are Lost in Space and Stranger Things. Why? Because you don't know what's, and even OA, because you don't know exactly what it is or what's going on. And so that's probably why The Shining lasted it was such a great film, because there's a mystery to the way it's presented. That the whole time, all those 3 hours, you're just trying to peek through the window to figure out what it is. And at the end, you're still left with a little bit of mystery in the sense that you want to watch it. And it's not until you rewatch it that the film's understanding comes and you start to realize all the nuances of it. And it's very cool because then you get a show, you get Dr. Sleep, which is kind of going in all those dramatic directions with that original story. I really wish my wife could have followed through and watched the whole thing, but Dr. Sleep is a great expansion on the Shining story. Such a cool one. There's another track with my drums and I wrote and recorded these drums, and then the song was written and recorded by Jason Jacobs. So, Jason Jacobs has been on BandLab for 6 months. He's gained 264 followers. His top track is The Slayer. His top collaborator is me, and I'm so proud. I was just wondering if there's anybody who has me as their top collaborator. Yes! That's awesome. So cool. Hope I can stay that. He's got a lot of people forking and stuff. I better start getting on some bass. And then it says 11.8 thousand plays. Wow. Since July 31st. Let's see, I bet he caps out at a solid 12K by the end of the year. We got some couple weeks left. Number 1 fan. His number 1 fan is not me. I'm his number 4 fan. I better go through and like all his stuff and he can regenerate a new one. Liam is number 1 fan. I should be number 1. I'm just kidding, Liam. Liam, you're the number 1 fan of my blog. Did you know that? Liam, thank you for being the number 1 fan of the blog. I see an angel, and he says, "Party on, dudes." Okay, man, we will party on. Hope you're partying hard, man. What the fuck are you up to? I should chat you while I'm recording this. So, this is TV Babies. TV Babies, yeah. He's out of Lakewood, California. Like it. Let me pull up messages. Inside this broken hole is a whole world of pain. Inside of this broken hole. What's up? He says. Ba-da-da-down. Okay, he's got a buddy, I think his name is James Hunt. I'm asking him, should I shout him out? Should I say, James Hunt? James Hunt, your mom is mad at you. Your mom says to me, James needs to get on BandLab. All his friends keep bugging me. I think that's his name. Let me ask, I don't even know. I'm gonna make sure. Is it James Hunt? He says, all my buddies need to get on BandLab. Yeah, so James, come on BandLab. We need you on BandLab. We may have Jason Jacobs, but we need you, James. Come on over to BandLab. Put down the money. Put down the work. Grab up the axe, and let's slice our way into some tracks of Jason Jacobs and show the world the magic. Come on, guys. If you haven't gone to BandLab, if you haven't tried BandLab, let's do it. Was that creepy whispering?
Creepy crap whispering and whispering the spell that's up in the spells.
So I have this weird thing I did. He does this thing a lot. I did this for a long time. Okay. Is this just like you know what I mean is like he's chugging. He's just chugging and chugging. I did that so many songs, so many years with my one friend. That one time, I'm just telling a story. That one time, he fucking flipped out on me about too much chugging. And then it was funny because It was like for like 3 or 4 months I didn't write very much. I kind of only did these certain kind of riffy tracks, no chugging. And like the next thing he came back with is, I gotta get this great track, we gotta play it. It was pure chug. It was just chug, you guys. And it was sick. I loved it. It brought the band back into action. It brought me back into action. Chugging is fucking sick. There's a whole section on some of those guys' YouTube pages. Does it chug? Ola England? Fucking gotta know, does it chug? If it doesn't chug, fucking throw it in the bin. Does it chug? Jason Jacob chugs. There's two sides to chugging. There's two sides to it. There's the palm mute tone that you hear. That's one part of chugging. It will not, being able to do that will not make you a chugger. Look, Mom, I figured out palm mute. I can do a palm mute. That's... Chugging is one part, the sound. The other part, the love of the repetition. You don't like to, if you don't like the idea of a fucking machine gun firing an infinite amount of ammunition, then you need to get the fuck away from me, because you're not fucking metal. Okay, you can stay near me, just don't try and talk to me about metal. Dude, that's what I think we have in common the most, is we're true chuggers. And because we chug so fucking hard and fucking all day, we just fucking chug like a fucking choo-choo fucking train. We automatically bond. And this has happened to me before, but I mean, Jason Jacobs does these challenges. They're basically like what I would call a challenge of his ability to chug. You know, it's called a motherfucking mother chugging challenge. And what that is when you say to yourself, I'm going to invent something. I'm going to invent 31 days of Halloween horror film. Challenge myself to 31 days of writing a song every day that's metal as fuck, the whole thing in that day, every day of October for 31 days, and naming them and theming them around different great horror films. Lost, The Craft, It, so many, 31 of them, you know what I mean? And a lot of other tracks aside from that. There's 31 of them, and then there's other ones. He's done forks on my track, The Real Hulk, all kinds of stuff. But I wanted to say what we have in common is a metal chug, metal band. Just the bands that chug, we like them. Some guys out there like a really they need a polyrhythm. Some guys out there like that artier stuff, like Tool, and they have to have it. don't get me wrong, I like Tool. Don't get me wrong, I like all the stuff. I've learned songs by them, and I listen to the records, you know, Masuga, all these other bands like that. And then some of these guys want party music, you know, and that's more like Van Halen. It's like Courtier, and it's even Megadeth leans towards it, and some Metallica even. And that's what made Metallica so big, is they were kind of like a party metal. But moving on, you know, bands that chug and just party are like Pantera, you know, and some of these other thrash bands are not as much party, and they're more just true thrash, you know, Testament, Anthrax, even though they are fucking party animals and they're fun and they blend genres, they're just more of a traditional thrash band when it comes to their origins. Now, yes, these are all thrash bands I'm talking about, but that's because we're talking about Jason Jacobs, and we like thrash, so what the fuck. So, thrash, you know, the thing is about that genre is it started at the same time as skateboarding, snowboarding, and shit like that. It's very, you know, a lot of people think of grunge. No, sorry guys, grunge is not synonymous with those things. Those things still exist, thrash still exists, grunge was a phase. People did change the way skateboards looked in that era, and it got real popular then, so that does create a little bit of a different alignment. But it all started with thrash and rap. Sorry guys, taking the steam away from grunge, but the grunge era, it was not what made that shit cool. It was not part of the origin story of that shit being cool. It was thrash metal, guys. There was a magazine, you guys, for skateboarding. It was not called Snap. It was not called Skateboarding. It was not called Skateboarders. It's called fucking Thrasher. Yeah, he's telling me right now, today he woke up thinking about chugging and something slower to showcase the chug. I'm telling him, I'm telling him what the track that he used to make a song really came from. He's saying it's difficult to find certain things to justify the drum fills. He says, I hate math, but I love metal math. I said, I love math. I said, I love meth. I mean math. I've never done meth, but you know. It's a good joke. It's been around a while. My friend always says it. So yeah, thrash, dude. Thrasher magazine, Metallica, all these other kind of bands were in there holding up skateboards, going, you know, trying to sell skateboards to the guys that wore torn jeans and taped up Converse. So this is the metal, and went out and smoked cigarettes at the park because mom was at fucking job number 3, and dad was either drunk or went off and killed himself, or a drug addict, or who knows what the fuck. Or with a second family, with his third family. Okay? So, yeah. That's what fucking started it, you know? Or maybe he was just working so much. It was the 80s. He says he's probably going to do another drum track either tonight or tomorrow, in the morning. And I said, I'm going to do one tonight. And that's why I'm going to wrap up the blog pretty soon. Even though I want to feature more of his music, I'm going to call it here. Because I feel like if I go any further, I could end up here all night long. A 3-hour blog. Just sitting here with my headphones on, just listening to this fucking metal and not making any myself. He asked me a good question, and I'm really thinking about it. He said, I've been doing a little bit more of the hook in his stuff lately. And he says, what do you think? Should I go back to the all-out thrash or keep trying the hook stuff? And I was going to say something cool. I was going to say, I said, I was thinking long riffs, not key changers, but brutals, like, I said like Megadeth Lucretia verse. If you know that, you know what I'm talking about. You're gonna get excited. He hears me because he already was saying something like it. Not Tool, but more Maiden length. And I was like, yeah, like Megadeth Lucretia verse. Like yeah, exactly. Or riff like Am I Evil? Oh yeah, baby. Fuck yeah. Well, this song is Complications. It's gonna be the last song for IdiOtBlog 297. You guys go get metal. We're all gonna go get metal tonight. Let's go get metal. Let's put out some metal tonight. IdiOtBlog 297. We are metal!